Hey everybody, Carlo D'Angelo, D'AngeloLegal.com. As promised, wanted to put out some more content relating to hemp and the opportunities in Texas that are available to those who might be in a position right now to be exploring some different business options and ideas. This is supposed to be a particularly bad week for the COVID outbreak, and I wanted to try to give you some content to sort of give you a little bit of a distraction from all the negative news that's out there. It's painful. We're all doing what we can to flatten the curve. We're all on home confinement. Still no haircuts, but we're just going to push on. So last time we talked about what is the difference between hemp and marijuana. They both come from the same genus, the same family, the cannabis sativa plant. One, being marijuana, has a higher concentration of THC in it, which is what gives you that high when you ingest marijuana. The other has a higher concentration of CBD, which has those beneficial properties for relaxing you, relieving anxiety, helping with inflammation. Now, both contain THC. It's just that one has it in a higher concentration, and that's why it remains illegal in Texas. That's marijuana. CBD is found in both. THC is found in both. But in hemp, there's a lower concentration. So today, continuing on that conversation, I want to talk about what Texas actually passed. What is the hemp law? So it is House Bill 1325, and it defines hemp as any part of the plant, including, and I'm going to read this, seeds of the plant, all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers, whether growing or not, with a delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, concentration of not more than 0.3% on a dry weight basis. So that is the technical jargon, but basically, hemp, any part of the plant that contains a percentage of THC that is less than 0.3, and that is going to be lab verified. That's one of the requirements of the law, which we'll get into in later episodes. So in order to accomplish this deregulation of hemp, the Act had to amend certain portions of Texas law dealing with the Controlled Substance Act. Under Texas's Health and Safety Code, hemp was previously treated as being the equivalent of marijuana. To get around that and to now legalize hemp, it had to be declassified, and that's what this law did. So, effective with the passage of this law, hemp, as long as it meets the definition under 1305, is no longer a controlled substance under Texas law, and that mirrors what happened under the federal hemp guidelines. Moving along, some other key provisions. Once hemp was declassified and no longer subject to criminal prosecution, that opened the door for commerce to occur, but you cannot run out and jump into this business without meeting the licensing requirements. So again, to stress, just because hemp is legal doesn't mean you can go put hemp seeds in the ground and start a hemp farm, because you must have a state-approved license before you can do that. And in future episodes, I'm going to go into what the requirements are for getting the license. In March, the door opened for making those applications, and I'll start to walk you through, although I don't know if there's anybody out there right now who's actually processing these applications, given the level of shutdown we're going through, but doesn't mean you can't put the time in to get your application together. So, another key provision of the Act is 443.204 subsection 3. That section of the Act prohibits smokable hemp products from being possessed or manufactured. Another provision of the Act defines, quote, smoking, unquote, as burning or igniting a substance and inhaling the smoke, or heating a substance and inhaling the resulting vapor or aerosol. Now, there is nothing in that passage that specifically addressed the retail sale of these products. However, if you do a little bit of research and you look at hemp flowers in Texas, you're going to see that Texas Health and Human Services is starting to look at this, and they are, I think, in the process of putting together their guidelines, because they view hemp flowers as being contrary to the law. What's happening right now is you see a lot of vape shops, a lot of CBD shops, And in their window, they are selling in their display case hemp flowers. These hemp flowers look exactly like marijuana buds, but they are CBD-rich hemp flowers. Now, to get around this provision during this period of uncertainty, shops are labeling those bags of hemp flowers as not for smoking. They, I guess, are selling under the theory that it can be used to infuse in a tea or something to that effect, but that is really skirting the line here right now as things are uncertain, and this is an ever-evolving thing. So I encourage anyone who's in the retail business who is selling hemp flowers or thinking about selling them to pay careful attention to what the Texas Department of Health and Human Services has to say on this subject, because you don't want to get caught with a letter ordering you to destroy your inventory and cease and desist. So be very cautious when dealing with potentially smokable hemp products, and maybe that loophole is not going to cover you if you get a letter. The Act also imposes new packaging and label requirements on consumable hemp. 443.2025 states, quote, "A person may not sell consumable hemp products containing cannabidiol, CBD, at retail in this state unless the person registers with the department, each location owned, operated, or controlled by the person at which those products are sold." That means you just can't set up shop anymore and sell CBD products unless you meet the requirements that the department is imposing through this law. Section 443.205 gives the packaging and label requirements for hemp-derived products. And under 443.205 Section 6, and this is all available to Google under the House Bill 1325, it requires the label to certify that the hemp-derived product contains a THC concentration of not more than 0.3, as we talked about earlier. The Act requires that the sale of out-of-state consumable hemp products must be in compliance with USDA hemp standards, and those are set out further in the statute under 443.151. And if there's any doubt as to whether a CBD product is in compliance, it is best to seek out the advice of either state resources or a lawyer who's experienced in this area of law to be sure you are in compliance. Now, localities are interpreting this different, and the legislature predicted that this would be a problem. So what they did is they put in a provision, thankfully, and this is where I, as a lawyer, am probably going to be really busy fighting these battles on the front lines of the hemp revolution here in Texas, is this section is intended to avoid the arbitrary enforcement of hemp laws across varying municipalities and counties. Section 122.002 prohibits any municipality, county, or other political subdivision in the state from enacting or enforcing any rule, ordinance, resolution, or other regulation that prohibits the cultivation, handling, transportation, or sale of hemp as authorized under this chapter. This is going to likely be a real bone of contention when you're talking about smaller towns or municipalities that are going to continue to still look at hemp as being marijuana, and they don't want it in their community despite the great economic windfall that it can bring them. So they may pass local ordinances that may try to restrict stores and farmers from possessing, handling, growing, transporting hemp. If they do that, that's where a lawyer comes in to fight that battle, to take on that local municipality, and to make sure that they comply with the state law. This is a good point to stop here today. I hope that this is bringing you value. As always, you can follow me on Facebook. You can hit me up on the web, DeangeloLegal.com. I hope everyone remains at home. If you're not an essential person, of course, and thank you to all the essential people that are out there keeping our society together right now and caring for the sick. Anybody who's not essential, stay home. Let's do what we can to flatten this curve so we can all get back to work. Thank you all.